Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Dr. Alessandro, and in this video I'll be discussing with you the dental school interview. So for those folks who are interested in applying to dental or any other professional school, this is meant to be an assistance or help for you. Now, keep in mind, things have changed over the course of the past few decades, and especially this past year with the COVID-19 virus. Things are certainly different than when they were when I was applying to dental school, and then subsequently when I was admissions committee member at Temple University. So things though that probably do not change over time are the following. First of all, if you have an interview, of course, and you are seriously considering the school, you should attend the interview or accept the invitation. Now, if you do not intend to, end up going to that school, if you're not interested in that program, don't go. Decline the interview. It's going to cost you time and money to practice, so to speak. So I think it'd be best served for everybody if you do not just go on an interview for the sake of going on an interview. Go to the places that truly interest you. That's the most important thing. Second thing, please dress professionally. Now, there is a little bit of leeway here and there, but if you're dressed unprofessionally or far too informally, it does stand out in our minds as committee members, and it's not a particularly good thing. Even if your application is stunning, you have amazing achievements, that's fantastic. But there is a certain expectation. So make sure you are dressed professionally. Make sure that if this is a Zoom interview, for example, instead of the traditional interviews which were held up until COVID-19, that you are dressed well and that your background is also appropriate. Now, if you're dressed professionally, but the background has some, say, interesting features, I'm not sure how well that would be read by admissions committee members watching your video. So please, by all means, make sure that you're dressed appropriately, but also that your surroundings in the event of a Zoom interview are also appropriate. Now, other things to keep in mind. When you're interviewing and when things change back from probably Zoom interviews to others, to other formats, when there are certain specific instructions given, you do want to listen to them. You do want to pay attention to what the instructions are. Because sometimes if you do not pay attention to what the instructions are, then admissions committee members notice, and that may not play well for you when it comes to the decision making by the committee members. So again, please pay attention to instructions given. Again, as an former admissions committee member, I can tell you this is critical. It does make a difference. We are paying attention to that. So those are some very basics about the dental school interview. And I think that this is a video that will help you. Now, like I said, this applies to any other program. So even if it's a master's or PhD program, even if it's a veterinary program or podiatry or medical, law, you name it, you do want to make sure that you are following these guidelines and paying attention to instructions. Show up on time. A very, very big thing, show up on time. Now, we can't help it if there's an accident or something that blocks you from getting to the, to your site, to the place where you're going to have your interview. Sometimes that happens. If it does, though, please make sure that the director of admissions or somebody in the admissions department knows. So if you can call ahead, text ahead, email ahead, do something, then that would be also very helpful, because otherwise they don't know and they just imagine that you were not put together enough and just did not seem to care enough to show up on time. Make sure if you have a way to let people know in advance that you will not be on time, do so. Now, very important, if you are not feeling well, okay, so if you are not feeling well at all, you feel like you're too sick to interview, by all means, let the admissions committee or director of admissions know and cancel the interview and reschedule. Because if you're too sick, then, well, first of all, you might be putting other people in the interview at risk if it's an in-person interview with a group. So we do not want you to do so, absolutely, and of course. But the other thing is, we do want to see you at your best. So do not just try to power through it if you're too sick to do so. Now, if you have some sniffles or a cold that's minor, something that isn't, of course, COVID-19 or anything serious, then by all means, make sure that you do come in, take some medication, make sure you feel well, and do come in if it's mild, if it's something that you can power through. Allergies, seasonal allergies affect many people. But if it's something serious, you have a big fever, you're just not feeling well, nausea, all that stuff that's not good for your GI system, then by all means, reschedule. Make sure you feel better and that you are at your absolute best possible when you come to interview. Okay, so that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're all staying well and healthy.